All right. Afternoon, everyone. We will get things started. We would like to welcome world number one, Scottie Scheffler, to the Media Center here at the Genesis Invitational. Scottie, less than 2 days ago, we were talking to you after capturing your 5th PGA Tour win. Haven't had much time to probably celebrate or let that one sink in because you were at the Collegiate Showcase yesterday, but just open up with some opening comments on capturing that win in Phoenix.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely proud to be able to defend my first win and then first win of this season. So it was definitely a lot of fun. It was a good battle with those guys down the stretch Sunday. It hasn't really sunk in yet for sure, but it was definitely a lot of fun, and was proud to be able to beat those guys. And they both played really good golf, and I'm looking forward to battling with them more in the future.
Be making your 5th start here at Riviera Country Club. What are just some initial thoughts coming into the week?
Yeah, golf course is in good shape again, just like always. I would say there's probably a bit more rough this year than there has been in years past. Like I guess all the rain that they had a month or two ago probably had a pretty big effect on that. But excited for the week. Golf course is a big challenge. It's one of our favorite stops of the year, and you got to be playing really good to play golf, score well around this golf course. So looking forward to the challenge.
Perfect. We're going to open up to media. Saul, we're going to open up here with Dan in the back.
Scottie, Nick Taylor gave you a pretty good battle. He was ranked 223rd, I think, in the world. And so if these events, as they're rumored to, are going to be smaller fields, and if there really is going to be sort of a bifurcation of the tour where there's the top guys are playing these events and the other guys are playing these events, will something be lost?
I'm not really sure, because if we do go to those smaller fields, it's not going to be an inaccessible event. Like, just because you go down from 120 guys, let's say you go to 70, there's still going to be avenues for people to get into those tournaments from current year's FedEx Cup. Like, the eligibility to get into those events is still going to reward good golf. And so let's say a guy like Nick Taylor would have played good. What's another event? Like American Express, had a good start there. Maybe had a good fall, then qualified for the event. You'd still see guys like that in the field. Even if the fields are small, you still get rewarded for good play. You don't want to lose a story like Nick. I mean, he's won twice out here. He's a good player. And I think that's one of the strengths of the PGA Tour is our depth.
And all the way in the very back.
Hey, Scottie. Congrats on the win last week. Like you said, it was a battle all the way down Sunday, but you kept your composure. How were you able to stay so calm on such a big stage?
Yeah, I mean, those situations are what you prepare for as a player. And so when you get into those situations, it's a lot of fun. I knew it was going to take a really good round on Sunday to get it done, and it was exciting that Nick was playing so well. I mean, he was making basically everything he looked at for most of the day, and I think really the first putt he missed that was of some importance was on 16, and that was, kind of the hole that flipped the tournament. And you want to beat people when they're playing your best. So I don't want somebody to fold down the stretch and, just get handed a win. It's more fun when you can go out there and kind of take it. And fortunately, that's what I was able to do on Sunday.
Awesome. And how do you think your composure will help you win at such a difficult golf course this week?
Yeah, I think good golf translates well on this golf course. When you're hitting it really well and you're playing good golf, this is a place that you can score on. And the opposite is said when you're not hitting it well. This golf course will punish you, and so it's one of the best tests of the year, and it should be a fun week.
We're going over here to Sean, then up in the front to Doug.
You touched on it briefly last week about your improvement in iron play last year, and the stats show that too. But what specifically did you change? Was it technique-wise, strategy-wise, or what happened to become a better iron player?
I think I improved my practice. I've always been really competitive, and becoming more focused in my practice has really helped. And so whether that be getting my technical stuff down and then working it into hitting and creating shots and hitting numbers and stuff like that, and bringing more of my focus into it versus where I'm not just relying totally on my hands and just kind of messing around. When I'm out there practicing, I'm envisioning more of what I'm trying to do and envisioning myself in those situations, because you can feel like you're hitting it really good on the range, but the level of precision that you need to actually hit it really close on the golf course is significantly higher than what you need to hit the ball well on the driving range.
Was there someone that Is that a realization you had yourself that you weren't focusing in practice, or someone told you weren't? Or
No, I think I've always been focused in my practice. It's just taking it kind of to another level of intensity, because you can be focused, but you can't really try to simulate the amount of pressure that you feel going down the stretch of a tournament. It's something that's hard to simulate, but the more and more you can put yourself in those kind of uncomfortable situations when you're at home and preparing, the better off that we've been. And Randy and I have put in a lot of work over the last few years just trying to improve that aspect of my game. I struggled with my swing a lot in college, and I was a really, really good ball striker for most of my career growing up. And when I had some injuries, I sort of lost it. And as I've continued to improve, how my body functions, I've been able to spend more time working on shots versus working out of bad habits. If that makes sense.
And Doug, go ahead.
How many times this year have you been asked about what you're going to serve at the Masters dinners, and how many more times are you going to say still working on it?
I'm going to assume a few more, probably. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but it'll be fun. It's fun kind of planning it out. My wife Meredith she's very creative, and she's been helping me kind of think my way through it because I'm not really good at that stuff, and so she's been helping me out.
What do you? I wanted to ask you about your lone victory here at Riviera. What do you remember about that winning the showcase?
Yeah, I remember playing with Jordan, played with a couple other UT alums that were our sponsors for the day, and I played really good that day. It was a lot of fun. Jordan kind of helped me get around the golf course. I don't think I played here before that day. I'm trying to remember what year the USAM was. I may have played the USAM here, but only a couple of rounds. Can't exactly remember, but definitely good memories from the day. And then the week, just being able to play in a PGA Tour event when we were in college is pretty special, and it's a good opportunity for guys to come out here and get experience.
And lastly, have you ever had any doubts about how good you are?
Yeah. I think when I grew up, I always wanted to be on the PGA Tour, and you wanted to make it out here, but you never really know if you're good enough to do it until you make it out here. It's funny, I always wanted to be out here, and I believed that I could do it, but I never expected that it would happen, but I also didn't really plan for anything else, if that makes sense. You don't really expect things to come to you in life. You got to go out there and earn it and work hard and see what happens. And yeah, when I turned pro, I didn't say, hey, I'm going to become number one in the world. I'm going to win X amount of tournaments. I'm going to do these things. It was like, actually, I'm going to go to these Monday qualifiers. I'm going to try and take advantage of the couple of starts that I had. And then when I wasn't able to do that, it was like, okay, let's go to Q school. And then it was just kind of step by step. I was hoping that I wasn't going to, but I'm glad that I don't right now. Maybe I will in the future, but who knows?
And behind Doug, we have MK.
Hey, Scottie, it's been a few years since Tiger has actually played in this event. For you and the other players on tour, what do you think his return here signifies? Well,
I think for us as players, it's a lot of fun. Tiger means so much to us as players out here on tour, and he's done so much for us out here that it's fun for us to be able to see him still continue to do what he loves. It was pretty scary a few years ago when he got in that accident, and we didn't know if he was going to be able to do this again. And so just to have him out here on the grounds and to see him around doing what he loves to do is a lot of fun for us.
Hi, Scott.
And all the way in the very back.
Hi there. You obviously hadn't won since the Masters. Obviously got that win last week. Was that something which was starting to weigh on your mind a little bit, having not got, added to that incredible run you had when you won 4 times in a space of a couple of months?
So I'm confused. What's the question?
Sorry, was it starting to weigh on your mind a little bit, having not won, obviously, in 10 months, I think it was?
Not really. It's not easy to win out here. There's a lot of talented players out here on tour, and I did a good job last year of putting myself in position a bunch of times. I think I had 4 wins, but I also had 4 runner-ups. The ones that quickly come to mind are Colonial and the U.S. Open being, just a shot away, and it's not easy to win out here. I think what frustrated me more was kind of being on the outside looking in on Sundays, not being in position to win in the fall and to start the year. I was kind of, just on the outside looking into where I didn't really have a chance on Sundays. I mean, maybe if I shot, a crazy round, but after about 5 or 6 holes, it was like, all right, now you got no chance. So that was a bit more frustrating than, looking back 10 months ago.
Hi, Scotty. You spoke about how nervous you felt before the final round of the Masters last year. I'm just wondering, how do the nerves compare trying to close out a PGA Tour event, like sleeping on the lead last week, for example?
Yeah, I think the Masters is always going to be a bit different just because it's the Masters, and I'd never won a major before. It's not to say I wasn't nervous Sunday morning. I was definitely very nervous because I don't like to lose, and I really wanted to win that tournament. And so I was definitely nervous. I mean, but I get nervous to go out and play with my buddies. I don't want to lose to them either. So there's nothing new.
And here with Dylan.
A year ago, obviously, things were a lot different in the professional golf world. What feels like the biggest difference from this event last year to now the pro golf landscape a year later?
Well, first of all, I felt like last year there was so much talk surrounding LIV at this event. I mean, as you guys know, there was just a lot of noise. And this year I feel like we're kind of more settled in to the ecosystem of golf. I think our tour is doing a good job of improving and continuing to benefit the top players and all across the board with our membership. And I think that's really what we're focused on now. Last year it was a lot of drama. It was like, well, who's going to go when? And, oh, I'm not going. Now this guy's going. And it's like all this stuff is going on around us, and it was kind of hard to focus on the tournament. But now I feel like we've settled in a bit, but it's still a bit weird that certain guys aren't here.
And we're going to go, then we'll go Sean here in the back and then back up to Doug.
Scotty, you're going to have to choose a dinner that is going to appease everybody at the Champions Dinner. And I don't think everyone is anticipating a very light mood that night. Are you thinking about basically what you will say to those guys when there's going to be a bunch of LIV guys in attendance?
Yeah, I haven't looked that far ahead. I don't know exactly what you're supposed to say that night. I haven't really gotten too much info. I got to talk to a few of the guys and figure out what actually goes on that night because I'm still kind of clueless. But I'm hoping that it'll be a fun night. I mean, gathering all those guys together in a room, I mean, that should be a lot of fun. It's a historic group of people, the Masters champions, and I'm sure that we can all put our personal opinions aside and just have a good night and kind of enjoy what the night really is.
Go ahead, Doug.
Your record with the lead going into Sunday, I think it's probably 2 out of 6 or something like that. What do you consider to be a good percentage closing streak for a player out here to be a good closer? I just kind of bashed you tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that was my record either.
I didn't either. I got it on my screen though.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
That's a good question. I mean, you can look at Tiger's streak. That was pretty good. He was a pretty good closer.
Well, that was
what was
my
his
question. Is it kind of unfair? I mean, Jordan once said, and Jordan can be a pretty good closer, and he thought 50% might be like a good record. But when you stack it up to what Tiger did, it doesn't seem all that good. So what's practical?
Yeah, I mean, when you
what's
stack
real
anything
and what's
against
Tiger?
It's not very good.
Yeah. What do you,
Realistically, it's all situational. So, like, if you, let's say I have a 54-hole lead and I'm at 10 under, and there's 3 guys at 9 under, and there's 5 guys at 8 under, it's like, well, if I go out and shoot 65, I could easily lose. And last week was one where I went out there with a 2-shot lead, and I was playing very good golf, and I wasn't extending myself. And so it also just depends on what happens around you. And so it's tough to put a specific number on it, but I mean, it's all very situational.
okay. I better stop.
Perfect. At that, we will wrap things up. Scotty, thank you for taking the time to join us. Good luck this week.
Thanks.